Across the United Kingdom, people have been celebrating the start of the new millennium. Hundreds of thousands converged on city centres the length of the land to enjoy fireworks, street parties and concerts. The first babies of the century have been born, and there's no real sign yet of the millennium bug. According to police, the festivities have passed without any serious problems.
Big Ben sounding the hour and 1,000 years. The queue for London's biggest light show. 29,000 tons of fireworks hurled into the sky. £1 million happily up in smoke. The river of fire along the Thames seemed all but drowned by the flame overhead. Across the nation, winter darkness was briefly defeated. In Edinburgh, Scotland clung to her claim there's nowhere else to be at Hogmanay, whatever the year. In Cardiff, thousands filled the Millennium Stadium. And in Belfast, the Loch was the great reflecting pool. Here, the year 2000 really does seem to offer a chance to throw off divisive history. But the most spectacular party is under the world's largest dome at Greenwich, home to time. The Queen linked arms with her Prime Minister, welcoming the new year in a huge crowd for the first time, sharing the moment with thousands of people. A few minutes earlier, the religious and spiritual significance of this midnight was stressed by the Archbishop of Canterbury, leading the great throng in the simplest of prayers.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
But many parties tonight are powerful because they're small, simple and traditional. Shetland banished the long hours of winter darkness and celebrated its future. Nothing so gentle at Cardiff's Millennium Stadium, the Manic Street Preachers. In Ireland, music and ceremony had a more profound purpose. John Hume, one of the creators of peace, was in Derry for a musical link-up across the border to Dublin. The new year really does offer new possibilities. And the chain of beacons across Britain are a linking gesture too. Glasgow shot flame high into the city sky. And on the Thames in London, the Queen used laser light as the fuse for a thoroughly modern flair. Earlier in the evening, the Prime Minister launched another spectacular addition to the capital's skyline, British Airways London Eye. It is an empty big wheel after failing to get safety clearance to carry passengers on the big night. But that didn't stop another fireworks display. But the eyes of much of the world are on the dome in Greenwich tonight. Hundreds of performers are giving what they must hope are the performances of their lives. At the party of 1,000 years. James Robbins, BBC News.
Around the world, billions of people have been joining in the biggest party in history. From the first celebrations on the islands of the Pacific to the capital cities of Europe, there have been spectacular ceremonies to herald the year 2000.
It began on the far side of the world and came from the east. Midnight in Sydney, Australia. 20 tons of fireworks watched by a crowd of more than 1 million in Sydney Harbour. And then, through the predominantly non-Christian nations of Asia, the first moments of the Millennium Year were celebrated, until a little more than 3 hours ago, midnight came to the place where it all began 2,000 years ago, to Bethlehem. In Manger Square, the birthplace of Christianity, 2,000 doves of peace were released. In Egypt, thousands congregated at the pyramids, monuments constructed more than 2,000 years before the birth of Christ. In South Africa, Nelson Mandela visited the cell on Robben Island, where he was held for much of the 27 years he spent in the prisons of the apartheid regime. He lit a candle, symbolizing the hopes for a better tomorrow for Africa and the rest of the world. The midnight hour approached Europe. In Athens, celebrations centered on the ruins of the ancient Greek temple, the Acropolis. At the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, Germany closed the door on a turbulent century of war and division. At the Vatican, Pope John Paul appeared to express his New Year good wishes to men and women in every part of the world. And in Paris, a spectacular display at the Eiffel Tower. 20,000 lights and several tons of fireworks were used as France joined the rest of Europe as it stepped across the threshold into the year 2000. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News.